Hey, what's up guys? Joe Elements here once again, and today I'm here to break down the actual cost of owning a Red Komodo 6K. Just giving you 5 main things that you actually need to have a fully functional Red Komodo. For those who are out there looking at considering the Red Komodo, these are the 5 things that you want to watch out for before you go and dash your money at this camera. I'm not saying that it's not a good camera. I love it to bits. This is by far, again, the best red camera I have personally owned and used, coming from the Scarlet X straight down to the Scarlet Dragon and the Scarlet W. Now, the number one thing obviously is the brain itself. As many of us know, with the camera, the red cameras, we always talk about the brain, and then we talk about all the additional to actually make it work. Fortunate for us, this Red Komodo 6K, yes, it's a brain, which is actually this cube right here in the middle, which is the brain, but it comes with EF to RF adapter, or you can natively adapt an RF to it, compared to the previous Reds where you had to, besides buying the brain, you have to buy a lens mount of your choice, and then also buy a Red Mag side reader of your choice, whether you want the 8.0 or the small Red Mini Mags. These are essential kits that you needed before you can actually get the Red up and starting. Not talking about the additional monitor that you need to get, and so on and so forth. So that added up to the cost of the camera. So fortunate for us here with this Red Komodo brain, we already have an RF mount, and then you also get an EF to RF mount, which actually comes with the camera. If you want to step up your game a little to get variable ND, then you also grab yourself the variable ND EF to RF adapter, which is an additional cost. Obviously, this is a clear one, but it is an additional cost, and it kind of bumps up the price. But we're talking about the cheapest way to actually have this camera up and running. So number one is the brain. The brain comes down at £5,940. So they're in about £6,000. Now, the number two that you actually need to make this camera functional and ready to shoot is CFast card, which will obviously be the memory card that you will be recording onto. Without that, then the camera is useless. So the CFast cards, which comes in various brands, Red is recommending Angel Birds and a few others out there. Personally, I use Angel Birds, and then I also use SanDisk Extreme Pro, and then also I have the Pro grades. And any of these three, I haven't personally had any problems or any issues with the recording. I haven't had any frame drops or any corrupted files by using any of these three. So as much as the SanDisk and the Pro grade has not been recommended by Red, they still work on there, because we know that the Angel Birds currently, because they are Red recommended, the prices just shot up the roof and they're very expensive. But there are other brands out there that you actually might want to try and to get the price down. So the CFast card, you're looking at around 350 to 400 pounds for a single 256 SanDisk Extreme Pro card. So specifically SanDisk Extreme Pro card. The Pro grade comes down a little bit cheaper. The Angel Birds are a whole lot more expensive. The other thing, which is number 3 on the list to get this camera fully functional, is a cage. Every camera nowadays, you must have a cage on there to be able to attach things like side handle if it doesn't have one already, and monitor brackets, microphone packs, and so on and so forth. So a cage for the Red Komodo is no exception. It is a must. As much as you see lots of pictures out there with people holding just the brain on its own with a lens and a couple of the Canon batteries, BP batteries on there, it seems very simple setup. But if you actually want to do a proper production, like a film set or music video shoot, you want to be able to have somewhere to actually grab the camera properly. You want to be able to mount a monitor to it, and you want to be able to capture some audio for specific shoots. And so a cage is definitely a must with any camera, regardless of its shape and size. And with this particular cage that I personally opted out for is the Tilta Komodo Kit A. That's the Tilta Komodo Kit A, which comes with a side grip, a side handle, and then a cold shoe monitor mount, which I barely use. And then obviously, as you can see, it goes all the way round and it protects the camera, as well as with all these multiple screw holes that you can tap and screw things onto. So that the price of this particular cage actually comes up at £214 or £215 there and about, including postage. So the next one on the list, which is number 4 in the list, is actually the V-mount plate adapter, which means battery power. You need some sort of battery power to be able to get this camera functional, because it has not got a built-in battery. It's not a rechargeable as a consumer camera. It has an external battery. Having said that, the external standard battery that actually work on here, which is the Canon BP batteries, they work fantastically well. It's just that they don't give you long enough hours, especially when you're doing a professional gig that you need constant battery power as long as you possibly can. And that's when these V-Lock adapters comes in. So this specific one is by Tilta, and it converts the standard BP batteries into a V-Lock mount, which allows you to actually adapt a V-Lock battery on here. And by doing so, it allows you to have longer hours of recording time, because you can slot in a 150 watt hour battery or 198 V-Lock battery, which will give you long recording time. So definitely you need power to be able to run this Red Komodo. And what I have chosen again is the Tilta V-Lock adapter plate. And this V-Lock adapter plate comes down to £145. That is just for this bit of adapter plate. And then obviously you can buy your own battery to be able to work on here to give you long hours. Actually, hold on a moment. Let me show you the batteries that I actually use. So the batteries that I use with this V-Lock adapters are these FX Lion Nanos. So this is the 50 watt hour and this is the 98 watt hour, which gives me approximately 4 to 4.5 to 5 hours recording time. So these just slots in at the back, and it keeps the camera very, very simple, very petite, but yet very extremely powerful. Now, the number 5 on the list is actually a monitor. This camera does come with a built-in monitor which works as a monitor and then also a touch screen. However, the screen is so small, it's usable for a small, quick run and gun. It's not super reliable in regards to using that to do your focusing. So you definitely need an external monitor for it to work. External monitors varies depending on what you prefer, but me personally, the one that I have is the Small HD 502 Bright, which is perfect companion for this. It's 5" and it sits perfectly nice on this camera and keeps the camera very nimble as well. Having said that, that Small HD is costing somewhere between £800 to £1,000. It's not necessary to spend that much money on there because this camera has tools output feedback to your monitor. So things like peaking, things like false colors, all of these things comes directly from the camera into your monitor of choice. So you don't necessarily need a monitor that has all these tools in for it to be functional. So there and about, we will estimate it at around £500 for a standard and a basic LCD monitor to make this camera functional. The total price of having this Red Komodo 6K functional and fully working for most situations is costing there and about £7,000. £7,000, which you're looking at around 7,600 to 7,800 in US dollars. So comparing this Red Komodo fully functional kit comparing it to a camera like the Red Raven or the Red Scarlet W or any of the other DSMC2 lineup, you realize that this Komodo is a fraction of the price. I mean, for $7,000 or £7,000, you can just there and about buy a brain of the Red Raven. As we speak, the prices has come down, obvious reasons for the Komodo's sake, but you're still looking at there and about £6,000 to £7,000 for a brain of a Scarlet W or a Raven. So definitely the Komodo wins on the price tag in regards to functional camera. I mean, talking about cameras like the Arri Alexa Minis, yes, that is geared towards a mini, small, petite camera, but that mini is actually the size of the standard Red Scarlet W, the Red Scarlet Dragon, and so on and so forth. And it's still very, very heavy. So you definitely want to consider this Red Komodo if you're in the market looking to spend that kind of amount of money. Also, do bear in mind that this camera is future proof because it shoots 6K and it shoots R3D and it shoots ProRes, and there is a lot more coming within the camera in terms of upgrade for autofocus. So this camera is not a competitor to the Canon C70, nor is it a competitor to the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. This is in its own league, competing against its bigger brothers, the DSMC2 lineup. So that is it for me. Hopefully this has been intuitive to you and you've learned something from it, and hopefully that will help you and guide you in deciding what you are going to buy. And if you are going to buy this camera, you have a rough estimate of how much you're looking to spend on a kit like this, which will future-proof you. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. It's a camera that will keep you going for a long time. So that's it for me. If you are new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. If you are already a subscriber, go ahead, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos. So until then, stay tuned and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.